So by this time last year, Manchester United was trying to look for a replacement or look for a partner for Bruno Fernandes. But this year, Manchester United are no longer looking for a partner for Bruno Fernandes. And even though we still need midfielders, there are a lot of options to choose from this year when it comes to buying midfielders. But this year, Manchester United are trying to look for a missing piece that is going to try to partner with Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo. And before we go into the particular profile, the right profile that is going to complement them, we want to currently look at the strengths and the weaknesses of our current midfield pair of Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo before we can try to sort of identify the profile that is going to make them to gel together. So firstly, when you want to talk about the strengths and the weaknesses of Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo, we are going to start with their strengths. So in terms of strengths, of course, Kobbie Mainoo is that player that can drop deep effectively. He's that player that can receive the ball under pressure, swerve out of tight spaces. He's a player that can dribble swiftly, and I really like the Kobbie Mainoo I'm seeing this season, because in terms of his on-the-ball ability, he has really improved, especially under Michael Carrick. He likes to play those quick 1-2 combination and dribble out of tight spaces. And also going over Bruno Fernandes, of course, his strengths are on the ball as well, because he's that player that has really changed under Michael Carrick. I think he's more calmer with the ball. He's more calculative with the ball. He likes to play more combination with the ball. And largely under Michael Carrick, you're going to find out that Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo has largely played together. Like, they like to combine together. They like to pass the ball to each other. They like to play in tight spaces together. And while Mainoo is the complete opposite of Bruno Fernandes, Mainoo is that player that likes to receive the ball, try to dribble, try to play those 1-2 combination. He's more of a tempo setter, and recently he has started, trying to play more long balls, which is really important in his game. But Bruno Fernandes, of course, is a different player because he likes to take more risks. He's that player that takes less care of the ball. He's that player that likes to be more of a creative, likes to play those balls in behind. So we have basically talked about how Bruno Fernandes and Mainoo are very important in the first phase. Let's also move further up the pitch, going into the second phase. So if you move up to the second phase, you're going to find out that Mainoo is that player that, of course, likes to hold the ball, likes to draw the opposition to himself by trying to dribble. And he's that player that whenever he wants to dribble, he tries to place his arm to the opposition and then try to guide them, and then he can move with the ball. So in terms of dribbling, in terms of being very important in the second phase, moving the ball up to the final phase, being very creative, Mainoo is that player. And also moving differently to an entirely different player, which is Bruno Fernandes, that likes to play this ball in behind to Konha, to Sesko, to Brian Mbeumo. He's that player that likes to always think forward. He likes to play that final third passes. He likes to create those big chances. And even though these are completely different players, they are players that are really suited to each other, and they can play in the same team. And if you find that instinctively, Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo likes to play from the left hand side. They like playing from the left hand side up to the right hand side. But you're going to find out that this season Bruno Fernandes has also been able to play on both sides, both on the left side and on the right side. And from this analysis of Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo, talking about their strengths and weaknesses, who do you really think is going to be the right profile to partner Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo? Let's actually go into the identification proper to try to know who is going to be the right profile to partner these two midfielders. So firstly, we are going to be having two options, and one of the options and one of the profiles that is going to complement Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo are a particular profile that can do what they cannot do. And what can Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo not do? What they cannot do are their weaknesses. And their weaknesses is that they don't have this recovery pace to sprint 30 to 40 yards to win that ball effectively. They are not actually big players physically. They are not big physical presence. They are not good in aerial duels. They are not good in ground duels. They don't have the recovery pace. They don't have the engine to constantly run in the midfield. They don't have the athleticism. Also, if you look at grading, you're going to find out that Kobbie Mainoo is one of the midfielders this season that have one of the worst athleticism in the Premier League. That tells you that in terms of athleticism, Kobbie Mainoo is not a player you have to count on. So Manchester United needs a player that is going to be very strong in aerial duels, that is also going to be very strong in ground duels, that is also going to have this recovery pace to constantly run and win the ball back. Because if you watch Manchester United this season, and also one of the reasons why Michael Carrick moved back to a 4-4-2 shape out of possession was because of the fragility of our midfield. We are not athletic enough at the center of the pitch, so he had to improvise. He had to drop our wingers back a little bit to help in marking and help in closing those pocket spaces in the midfield. And you could see that whoever we are going to get that is going to be the missing piece is going to be that player that does exactly what the weaknesses of Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes is, which is basically trying to win those ball back, also being very good on the ball, because it's not just about athleticism, the mobility, the acceleration with or without the ball. The profile we're also supposed to get that is going to complement them also has to be very good in terms of playing with the ball. He also has to, have this ability to drop deep efficiently, to spray passes for 90 minutes, to be very effective in also moving the ball from the first phase to the second phase. He should be able to do, he should be able to possess these several characteristics for tactical purposes. And the options that are in this profile are basically Sandro Tonali and Aurélien Tchouaméni from Real Madrid. Hello guys, I'm trying to get to 3,000 to 4,000 watch hours in the next 28 days. So I want you guys to help me to watch this video to the end. Sorry for disturbing you guys. Also, the second profile that we can choose to get that is going to really complement Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo are basically the enhancers. And these enhancers profiles are players that are going to be very alike to Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo. You could remember some days back we did a video concerning Mason Mount in the midfield, how he combined really well with Kobbie Mainoo, how he was making quick combination, dropping deep, recycling the ball, trying to play out of tight spaces, trying to keep it really simple, trying to be very technically gifted. These are the second profile of players who should be getting at Manchester United. Just like in the case of PSG, they have the option of buying a player that is going to be a very strong driller, that is going to win those aerial duels, physical duels, that is going to have this lot of recovery pace, that is going to be a very, very big physical presence. But instead, they opted to buy players that are all technically gifted, players that can be able to enhance each other, that can be able to play in tight spaces, that can regulate out of tight spaces, that can dribble, that can give total control in the midfield, that is going to be hard to get the ball off them. So Manchester United have the option of either getting players that are going to mask the weaknesses of Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo, or buying players that are going to be enhancers. And getting enhancers means that you're going to be having control in majority of the game. The player is going to be very, very mobile, he's going to be agile, he's going to have good acceleration of the ball, he's going to be very, very sharp in terms of releasing the ball quick, making those quick combinations and running in behind to take the second balls. The options that we have in the market currently in those particular zones are Elliot Anderson, Bruno Guimarães and Matheus Fernandes. So I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the comment section on the profile of players that you feel that Manchester United should go for when it comes to getting the enhancers and also getting the players that is going to max the weaknesses of Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo. I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the comment section. See you guys in my next video. Ciao.